Hello. So I wanted to talk a little bit today about perfect lesson horse, Cody. So you know the whole scale of 1 to 10 thing? So when my clients are looking for horses, there's a scale like on Dream Horse of 1 to 10, 1 being very super calm and 10 being, we horse people say hot, and we don't mean sexy, we mean like spooky, prancy, freaking out about stuff. So like 10 would be like a very unmanageable horse, and 1 would be a very calm horse. So everybody asks me, what is Cody on that scale? So this is what I say. I say, well, to us, Cody's like a 1 or a 2. But that is because we purposely keep him that way, because in the hands of people who might not understand him, he could be a 7. The students can hold the crop so that he'll listen when they kick and cluck, but if they use it on him, he turns into a 7. He like head tosses, bucks, or takes off and gets really nervous. Even horses that you might buy as a 1 to a 3 can quickly turn into, a 7 to 10 without the right training. This is what I tell my students at my clinics all the time. I say, you are always training your horse, whether it's on purpose or on accident. They are always learning. So if you're not purposefully training good things, if you're not purposefully removing the anxiety from your horse every day, if you're not purposefully trying to teach them something, then you're accidentally teaching them other things that you possibly might not want them to learn. So because Cody's Cody, we get a little lackadaisical and we don't really pay attention because he's Cody and he's just good all the time. But what has been happening lately is that he had a couple accidents in the cross ties, and if you've never seen it before, it's kind of hard to explain, but it's very terrifying. Horses can like flip over backwards. They feel like they get trapped, or a horse's worst fear is to get trapped. So sometimes when they feel pressure but they're scared, they can't think, oh, if I just give to the pressure then I'll be fine. Sometimes when they're in that mode, they just think, I need to get out. So if something spooky happens and they pull back against the halter, whether they're tied up or cross-tied or in a horse trailer, they can't think, well, some can, but they can't think, just stand still, release the pressure, I'll be saved. They're just like, get me out of here, and they're pulling back, and they can snap the rope and they can flip over when it releases, and it's very terrifying. So he had a couple incidences like that. Luckily he didn't break the chain, but he's leaning all the way back, almost sitting on the ground. And it's scary because you want to go and release them, but you don't want to get smacked in the head, and it's just very terrifying. And then kind of since then, he's been really weird in our aisleway. He just kind of stands. I'll show you in this little video later where his legs just shake and he's not grounded, and he's arching his neck and snorting at things. And then because of something else, is because of his extreme sensitivity, he overreacts, like I said, if you touch him with anything. So when I was riding in Western the other night, before I put Taylor on there, I just lightly went back and just touch with the end of the romal. Didn't even smack him, just touched him, just held it there, and he bucked a few times, and kind of, the students are like, is he gonna do that all the time? No, he only does it with me, only because I'm pushing his boundaries. So basically our 1 to 2 on the scale of 10, Cody, can quickly and easily become dangerous as well, if we don't pay attention and help him and take him where he needs to go in his training. This is day 1 of desensitizing training. You can see how wary he is in his face, and he moves his feet away from the motion, but I want him to be still. So I release the pressure when he stands still. You can see him flinch when I move the flag back in. His legs are trembling, but I'm not hurting him. That flag does not hurt. I did a click and a treat for some encouragement for him. This is day 2, tapping on his legs. He's standing much more still, much more grounded, no trembling, no scared face. Back to day 1. We're doing the back legs now. He has his legs cocked now and he's not grounded, and I startle him when I move to the inside of his leg. Cody's compliant and he might think that lifting his leg is what I want him to do, but I hang in there because what goes up must come down. There he dropped his foot, so I stopped the tapping and clicked the clicker. So I'm returning to do it again. He still has his foot ready to lift up, but he's generally more relaxed and he's not lifting it higher, even moving it to the inside of his leg, so I decide to click and treat to reinforce the lesson. So now I'm getting more extreme with the flag. I'm just further helping Cody with his high sensitivity and his low pain tolerance. But because he's compliant and would probably stand like that forever if he thought that's what I wanted, I decide to help him put his hoof flat on the ground. I use his tail pole a little bit, and I'm going to click along the way of him flattening his hoof down. So I'm back at it again. He's keeping his foot down, easy peasy, and then I give him another treat. So day 2 of hind legs, much better. I'm tapping pretty assertively. You can see he is thinking, but he's keeping his feet grounded even when I change the angle of the flag on his legs. So you can use the clicker to mark a desirable behavior. You don't have to give treats right away. In fact, it teaches the horse longevity and patience to wait for the treat. So I give him the treat while continuing the tapping. This is something I just do because my intuition tells me to. So back to day 1, moving while the flag is moving. So you can desensitize a horse all day long while they're standing still, but when they start moving, that can be all out the window because their fight or flight gets kicked into gear the faster that they go. So I can easily teach my horses the difference on when the flag means something and when it doesn't. It's important to have both trained into my horses. I want Cody to remain at a walk no matter what the flag is doing unless I cluck. It works, just watch. He's tossing his head and flinching his butt muscles each time I move the flag up. But he finally starts to slow down a little and he stops tossing his head. Again, because compliant Cody, I have to teach him what I want. I say to him, I want you to walk. And then I keep asking him to walk, but I do not stop moving the flag. He's getting slower, tapping, 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 helping him, saying whoa. Then when he finally clicks, I click the clicker. So watch, I bring the flag from the ground to him again and he stays at a walk, so I click again. And then he gets a treat finally for that because that was a really good moment. So back to day 2 of stay at the walk when I move the flag. Oops, so he started trotting. He stayed walking when I had it on his bum, but I moved it down to his hocks and he started trotting. So you continue with the flag there because if you release the flag, you reward them for that. So he came back to a walk with some encouragement, click treat. The flag means move when I cluck. Trust me, they learn the difference very quickly. So flag from the ground to him and he stays walking today. So knowing Cody, the addition of the cooler today made no difference. It was just the training that we did. I even tapped on his bum and he stayed walking, even though he had to consciously think about making that choice. So now we're back to day 1, going to the right. Just a quick little lesson that the click does not mean stop and turn to me for a treat. He has to wait until I say whoa and approach him. So I've been teaching my training horses that me going to the side doesn't mean move off. Only if I cluck and point or cluck does it mean move. So I encourage Cody to stay standing while I move the flag with some woes. I don't do this with every horse, and I don't want to do it forever with him. But he did it. He waited until I clucked, and then he remained at a walk while I moved the flag. But because horse training, he started trotting again, but that's more opportunity for us to repeat the lesson and help him learn. He starts getting pretty hot again, tossing his head. He even cantered off, but that's okay. With horse training, you must remain emotionally detached. You just can't get upset. So I'm going to click him all the way back to a walk, meaning I'm going to reward his behavior along the way so that he wants to give me more of that. Also still teaching him that with my voice for now about what I expect. So here we go again. Did the lesson work? Yeah, I think he's starting to get it. I'm moving the flag. I am going a little slower for his benefit. But he's staying at a walk. He starts to relax his head down. So I'm clicking the good choices, and he's also learned not to turn to me for a treat. So you can see in his face and tense body muscles that he's still worried sometimes, but he's trying. But then he does start to relax his neck, face, ears, and body muscles. I'm taking the flag down his leg, testing it, making sure he stays at a walk. Clicking and treating along the way, or not always treating. So I'm asking him to come down to a halt while I'm tapping the flag on his hindquarters. I promise I'm not creating a dull horse. Instead, I'm creating a relaxed, accepting of the rider and the rider's aids horse. So day 2, we're going to the right again. So I can get pretty extreme with the flag motion, and he stays at a walk this day. So some repeated lessons that the click doesn't mean stop for a treat. So the flag from the ground to him, he walks a little faster and more tense, but he chooses to stay at a walk instead of trotting. I approach him with a treat. So now I'm putting the flag around his legs, and he's not trotting off, which I'm very happy about. The horses learn really quick, especially with the addition of the clicker training. I am just loving it. So stay tuned for the next video where I take Cody back to the cross ties to test if some of this training has worked. Thanks for watching, guys. Feather Equestrian Training by Leslie Cook, a Mini Horse Trainers production. And you can find me all over social media or email.